Coach Johnny Estelle joining us now on the Javelinas Sports Radio Network. Coach, just talk about this coming week. You have two games. You have A&M International Saturday, and then you have a home game on Monday. So you're hosting someone, finally. It seems like you guys haven't been here for a while. But you're getting back to action after 10 days off with finals and everything like that. Just talk about your schedule this week.
Well, I mean, we hope that, we've kind of rekindled who we were before. We actually hit the road. We've done well, did well in Stephenville, beat two good teams. Kind of went to St. Edwards and had a little bump in the road with a young team that's expected. But we want to get back to our winning ways. Going to International is a tough team. We beat them at the buzzer, very well coached, talented team. So going down there will be a chore. They've never lost this year. They're actually 5-2. They started off 0-2. Now they've won 5 in a row. So it's a good test for us. That's just like every game. And then to play St. Mary's on Monday, that's always a good rivalry battle. It has been ever since I played here. So those are two good games that are very similar to league games.
And for you, you've played both of these teams already. So what do you see from your perspective as far as a coach? What do you think you guys can improve on going into your second battle with both teams?
Well, quite naturally, hopefully execution-wise we're a little better. Offensively you always take a little more time to come around. Defensively, though we played decent enough to win in both situations, winning one and losing one. But we hope to be a little bit more polished offensively, shoot the ball better, have a little better identity. I think, if I remember correctly, that was game 2 and 3 of our year. So now we're a little bit, hopefully, further ahead.
Now, you're talking about a schedule. Again, you guys took 10 days off. With practice now, do you see any rust from these guys, or was that a break that everyone needed just to get mentally prepared for finals and then obviously the latter half of December?
Well, you got a little bit of both probably. You're going to look rusty some days you're going to look like, it was what you needed, a little rest to kind of recharge your battery. Basketball is such a long season, man, and for some of these guys here who hadn't played at this level or transferred in or still sophomores, which basically, didn't play a lot last year, this grind sometimes can get to them. So, I think for what you just said, it makes it very imperative that we have a little balance of both, that we get rest and also we fine-tune some things.
Now, early on this season, you have tinkered a little bit with your lineup, but you have played 10 to 12 guys regular minutes. You've given those guys regular minutes. Just talk about what you've seen from all those guys. Jamar Goodwin was honored last week as a Defensive Player of the Week for the Lone Star Conference, but just talk about overall what you've seen from your team thus far early on this season.
We're still trying to establish, I think, our identity. I thought coming back from Tarleton, we kind of had secured that. Took a step back at St. Edwards. So we're still trying to establish a few roles, establish the identity of how we're going to play night in and night out, the consistency aspect of it. We've won 3 out of 4, which is good. I think we've played a very competitive schedule, night in and night out. But at the end of the day, it's being more consistent. So, having Jamar, step up and being a defensive player, having that recognition was good for our team, especially with it being defense, which is a team-oriented thing. And that's got to be a part of our DNA. Part of our identity is defense, which is what got us those 3 wins in a row. But we've got to get back to that. We didn't defend very well at St. Edwards. Hopefully we've worked on that and we've improved that. So going into these 2 games, we can defend and execute better, which helps us establish our team identity.
Overall, obviously you played here, being a point guard here. What have you seen out of Chris Boulware, who started all games thus far at that point guard position, but also Tim Singleton and those guys that are coming off the bench, Singleton, Frazier, and Brandon Etienne? Well,
the hardest probably position, point guard, is adjusting to different coaches. I'm Chris's 3rd coach in 3 years here basically. Same thing I had to endure when I came in. But he struggled a little bit early trying to figure out how we're doing things. But his effort and his attitude has been really good. So it came to fruition the last couple of games where he's played really well, or the last 3 games. So consistent point guard play is important. And it's also in Tim Singleton's situation. I'm his 3rd coach in 3 years. Same thing for both guys. So it's a learning curve that they both got to go through. I think that their attitude has been in the right place. Their heart has been in the right place. Moving closer to the conference, we needed to be in the right place for us to have a chance to win.
Final question for you, Coach. Monday's game will be the final home game until Lone Star Conference play begins. And frankly, right after Monday, you guys head to Florida for 2 games to close out this season. Or this calendar year. So just talk about how important it is to end this calendar year on the right note, going 4-0 against International, against St. Mary's, against those schools that you will be playing Embry-Riddle and Virginia State?
That's a good point. Momentum, building that consistency. The trip to Florida last year gave us a chance to get away, have a little fun, even though we was on business, not just pleasure, but kind of gel and come together. It was really imperative for last year's team. The end result wasn't what we wanted, but for this year's team coming back, I think it'll give us a good reprieve from the everyday grind. It kind of gives you an opportunity to play two teams that are outside of your region, two really good teams, and get a chance to kind of build that bunker mentality. When you go on the road, you play in these tournaments, some coaches look at it different ways. We look at it as trying to establish that mentality for the tournament, whether that's the Lone Star tournament or the national tournament, and developing that mentality back to back, playing against good competition, game planning, having a professional approach to it. Those things are very important on these trips. So we hope to learn that and come back here with a couple of wins in the championship.
That's it, Coach.